Hello everybody, welcome to Coffee Coding Chat. It's Saturday morning. Today's stream, I had to reschedule a guest I had. Unfortunately, he got sick. I was going to focus on having him help us learn what Vue.js is all about and go from there, but he was sick and unfortunately wasn't able to make it. So we rescheduled that stream for next week, Saturday the 21st. But this week, I decided to move that stream to this week, which was, let's talk about what I would learn to code my God, let me get my thoughts in here. But welcome. Basically, it's what would I learn if I were to start learning to code again in 2023 and what to focus on. So we're going to chat about that. By the way, if you're joining on, I run a channel called Coding After 30. I stream Friday 9 p.m. CST, where we do mostly live coding, and 11 a.m. Saturdays, where we talk about steps to take to get into the industry. And again, I appreciate everybody who joins, but regardless how many people join, I'm going to keep streaming anyway, even if it's to myself. But today we're going to kind of talk about the roadmap. I know I kind of showed my prior roadmap, and I'm going to share that as well. And then we're going to talk about how to update things and what to do if you were to continue learning. And again, let me know if the music is too loud. If it is, I'll tune it down. I'll tune it down a tiny bit anyway, because it probably seems that it's too loud. But today we're going to talk about what I would learn if I were to start coding again, and what my plans are in terms of where my focus is going to be for where I am in my development journey. And then if you're just starting out, where should you be focused? And maybe actually this will be a good exercise to do together on stream, is instead of having just the roadmap, I was thinking about it, maybe we should also break it down before looking for a job, after, getting hired. It's what do you do to get hired? Maybe then you could have break it into 3 sections. What do you do prior to interviewing, what you do during interviewing, and what you do once you get hired, and how do you focus? We could do that as well. And let me know in the chat if that's something that would be actually interesting. But hello, Sharon. Great to have you here. Northern Chip, what's up? And Sharon says good idea. So I agree with Sharon that it is a good idea. Let's do it. I am going to focus on the roadmap from the standpoint of front-end developer, and I still think taking the front-end route is the easiest way to break into the industry if you're looking to start learning to code. And if you were on the fence, I don't want to learn to code because ChatGPT-3 is going to take all of our job, as I learned on last night's stream, no, it won't. If you missed it, check out the live stream. Let me actually find it. I'll share it here in the chat. The first hour was okay. The last 20 minutes where I was struggling, even ChatGPT-3 couldn't help me, believe it or not. So no, it's definitely not taking jobs. But what I was going to say is that, don't worry about ChatGPT-3. Even 3 to 5 years from now, yes, it's going to disrupt the industry, but I believe it's going to do it in a good way, because if anything, it's going to give more people opportunity to get started with coding. And the way I heard one of the founders or people that worked on OpenAI describe it, he said that, if you think of programming languages, right? And when we first started programming, yes, John, hopefully me and him will be streaming soon, but love from India. Manish, thank you for joining the channel. Glad to have you here, and everybody. And so the way he described it's back in the day when we first started programming, right? We used to use punch cards where you punch holes that represented 0 and 1s, which is really cumbersome to use for developers, right? And then we slowly over time moved to let's say assembly language or machine language that the computer understood, but it was still really hard for people to read the language. And then we had C, C++, JavaScript, and now as you see, we're getting closer and closer to higher learning languages. And I think ChatGPT-3 is going to be that next step, which will help us to have a more conversational way to code, which is still not happening anytime soon. Yesterday, you saw me on stream. ChatGPT-3 did not help me much. It did help enough to get started, but it did not get my job done. So I wouldn't worry about. And I want to shout out to Bram here. Boogie19, he is an amazing community member at on our Strappy Discord. Strappy is the company where I work. He has built a bunch of awesome plugins, and he has been helping me dive deeper into plugin development, and I will have him on stream. I think it would actually be a good idea to have him on stream to actually do an intro to plugin development and why it's cool and how it could help somebody who maybe does like just starting out coding still be a good way to learn, where instead of building a whole huge project yourself, you're literally focusing on the plugin. And what's awesome about plugin development, Boogie, we're definitely going to get you on stream for sure, because I think this will be a good thing for people to consider if you're looking to find like what can I put on my resume. Is you could build plugins for existing like software solutions out there, like for instance Strappy being one of them. You could build a useful Strappy plugin. It will be you know, showcased on Strappy Marketplace. And actually, now that I'm thinking about, that would be a amazing thing to have on your portfolio. So let me share my screen quickly here. Yeah, you'll be able to list plugin. I'm not saying you have to build for Strappy. The reason like I built for Strappy is because I work with Strappy. We have amazing Discord. We have Boogie. We have all these other community members that will help you if you get stuck, which is fantastic. But you can build a I'm trying to find. Yeah, so Boogie's just recently built this one, Protected Routes, amazing plugin. And not that he's looking for a job, I guess, you know, like, I don't think so, right? I think you're happily working. But what I was going to say, like, if you were starting out, and I'm just going to show, like, Boogie went and created a plugin which solves an amazing like issue that we had. And if he were looking to a job, this could be one of his things in his portfolio resume. And the fact that it's listed not just like his portfolio side, but actually on a Strappy Marketplace, a company, that's going to look like really, really, really good for developers, not developers, but people that are interviewing you and seeing your projects, because you're actually doing stuff and you're adding value to other companies and you're contributing to open source, which is really something that I didn't do when I was starting out because I didn't know enough. But now what I would say, like, doing plugin development as one of your projects for your portfolio will be awesome. And here you're literally, everything's done with JavaScript, right? We have React on the front end, and then we're using, you know, Koa on the back end, which is basically NodeJS. Like, literally really, really awesome. And so if anybody is trying to get into it, that's actually one avenue to go to. But today I'm going to talk about what would I learn if I were to start all over again. And yeah, 100% need to avoid tutorial help. Yeah, Northern Chimp, I don't blame you. Listen, if any of my streams interfere with anybody's sleeps, don't watch them. Come back later. You know, come back later. That's why they're recorded. It's perfectly fine, nice, and fantastic. And so what I want to talk about, like, what I would be learning, and if you are have any questions or suggestions, let me know. I'd love to keep the chat and people chatting. Mateus is here. Great to see you. Hello. Very, very awesome. And so today what I wanted to talk about, like, what would I learn? And I'm going to show you my old roadmap, and we're gonna make a newer version, and we could all have a conversation around it. I could be completely wrong, but this is kind of like what I focused on. Need the best course for JS. I recommend John Smilga courses, but I found another instructor. Like, John Smilga is definitely my favorite instructor, but I just found another instructor that I really love, and I have a bunch of his courses, is this guy, Clyde Matthew. But obviously check out John Smilga. JavaScript course is like the best foundational course, but if you want to jump into details of some of the things, is check out this guy. Let me actually look up his courses here so you could see, and his name is Clyde Matthew, right? So I'm gonna search Clyde Matthew with two T's. Clyde Matthew. I will chat about a good way to avoid tutorial hell because it's part of my roadmap to me not make that mistake. So this guy has amazing courses, and it's all vanilla JavaScript based, and you like really get a little bit like deeper understanding of JavaScript. So right now I'm taking like brushing up my Ajax. So I'm taking his Ajax fundamentals, and then I'm going to do the other. And never buy courses on the full price. Wait for sale, by the way, before you buy it. But his dynamic websites JavaScript course is amazing. Both of the first part and second part. I believe I have all of them. Yeah, see, I'm an addict when it comes to courses. I have more courses than I will ever be able to take, and I have 2 accounts. But really good new instructor. And I also recommend John Smilga. His JavaScript course is really excellent and good. All his tutorials are good, but this one is 46 hours of material, and it's really awesome because it's all like practice based. So you are forced to work, and I will talk about how to get out, like not guarantee that you're not in tutorial hell by yeah. And yeah, it's actually, let me come back to this point. It's no hard way to avoid it if you don't set certain parameters for yourself to help you stay focused. Because what I found out, what I would do is I would start doing a tutorial, and when people refer to tutorial hell, is they refer to like starting a tutorial, never finishing it, moving on to another tutorial, never finishing it, moving on to the tutorial. And I guarantee a majority of us are following this pattern. And then getting to a point when someone asks you to build something, you're not able to build anything. Yeah, it's Smilga. Yeah, guys, he said John Smilga. Yes, he did. And who? Yeah. It's... You know what? He called me out because I made that first video with him. I mispronounced his name, so I had to go back and post and edit it. But anyway, let's kind of jump into it a bit, and smash the like button if you did it so more people find this. By the way, if you're watching this and you're like, I'm not subscribed, but I can't comment. Well, I don't know what to tell you, because I made these live streams as a benefit to the people in the community of the YouTube channel. So it's like, if you're a subscriber and you're supporting, this is a place for you to ask questions and chat with me. So that's a benefit to my subscribers rather than for me, right? Most people hate the fact that I don't let people comment if they're not a subscriber. So whatever. And yeah, I already looked at this one. So let me show like my old roadmap here. And by the way, to avoid tutorial, yeah, and I will answer that. You want to be like, you want to basically, let me just go through my old roadmap first, and then we'll talk about like the changes I would make now. And so first of all, like there's many ways. I think if you're just starting out and you want to break into the industry, bro, another coffee for you. You're 100% right. It's so delicious. Whole latte love. It's not a latte though, it's a black coffee. I'm trying to lose weight, I'm not gonna lie to you, so trying to avoid where I can't make the cuts, and I'm making progress. Started hitting the gym again, but it's a journey, you know, one step at a time. But anyway, coming back, let me share my screen here. So the old roadmap that I made, yeah, it's here. And so basically, first I said step 1, I don't know why I put learn, because step 1 should be like, make a choice. Make a choice of what path you're going to take. There's many paths you could take. For me, if you're going the self-taught route, you're trying to break the industry, like I would still argue, and we could have a discussion around this, that front-end is the best way to break into the industry, and it's the quickest way. And by the way, when I say quickest, like it didn't take me 3 months to get hired. It didn't even take me 6 months. It didn't even take me a year. It took me like almost 3.5 years of consistent learning, and maybe because I'm slow, to get to a point where I was able to get hired. I'm not saying it might take you 3.5 years, and it's only, I think why it took me that long is because I didn't have a clear roadmap like I have here right now. But I would say plan a year and a half, 2 years of like good, because coding is not as easy as people make it out to be. Like, don't listen to other YouTube channels that tell you in 6 months, 3 months, I got whatever. Maybe they did. but I don't know the circumstances behind it. Maybe their uncle was the owner of the company that they got hired for. So, but plan on putting in like solid work, and I'm gonna share with you my plan why you need to have a path. So make a choice. I decided to go with a React developer. And at the time, like what I decided, well, not at the time, after I made many mistakes, but this was like the roadmap that I created, is decide what to learn. And so I felt the most appropriate things for me would be learn and be familiar with the basic use of GitHub, learn HTML, CSS, and Sass, learn JavaScript, learn React, learn how to consume APIs. You don't have to know how to make an API, but learn how to consume an API, which allows you to create a CRUD application, and familiarize yourself with databases. I'm not saying be a master of being able to write magical like queries in SQL, but what I'm saying is that know what a SQL database is, know what a MongoDB database is, and understand like how it functions. On the back end, when you make requests to your API, there's some logic that will query the database to either write or return the data. So it'll be good. So in terms of answering your question, how proficient HTML, CSS should be before jumping with both feet into JavaScript and eventually React, we're going to talk about it here, and this roadmap, the way I build it, is going to show you why and how you know you got to that point. Great question. Adapted artist. Why did you choose React? Because at the time when I was looking to switch careers, I looked in my local area. At that time, I lived in Connecticut, and then I looked in big cities like Boston, New York, and Austin. Boston and New York were like out of the question for me because cost of living there was more expensive. So I looked in Connecticut and Austin to see what jobs were available most. And I found that there's many, even to this day, a lot of opportunity for React. And so I was like, hey, if there's a lot of demand for React developers, let me go ahead and learn React. So that's how I decided. I also ended up moving to Austin because I was like, hey, I need to be in a bigger city. And this is before COVID, so this idea of remote work didn't exist yet. I think at this point, like you could just apply to places to work remotely, but at the time that wasn't the case. So I had to move to a city which had more job opportunities. And that's why like I moved to Texas. I started applying there, and then I was able to get my first job as a React developer front end, which was cool, by the way, because as soon as I got hired, even though I got hired as a front-end developer, my boss is like, look, we also work a lot on the back end, and so it would be really awesome if you start learning C# ASAP. And so you can't get a job, entry job with front end, and then eventually start making the transition to learning back end or becoming a full stack, but don't go full stack right away. There's too much to learn, too much to learn. So jobs decide what technologies we use. Yeah, 100%, that is true. Like if you're learning something that nobody else is using, it'll be really hard to get hired. So for instance, like I would still say go React route, get a job, and then switch to whatever you want to do. Like that's super important. And Northern Chimp says to Jay Sega, I'm confident when I have finished John Smilga's HTML CSS course, I'll be ready for JS. So that's 100% true. And so let's jump to the roadmap to kind of talk about it. So first thing, like decide what you want to learn. And then once you decide what, make a choice to what kind of role you want to get. But once you make that choice and you know what you want to do, you want to be a React developer, kind of decide based on doing your research and seeing like kind of what people are asking in job descriptions, and also just doing research on Google and YouTube, whatever. But what are the basics you have to learn? And so decide what to learn. So number one, you need, like I was like, you need to be familiar with GitHub. You don't have to be a master, but find and learn the basics. I ended up learning basics from YouTube, but there's definitely courses available. Learn like HTML, CSS, and Sass. That was like my step. Learn JavaScript. Then I jumped to React. Then I talked about consuming APIs and databases. And what I did, because it's so easy to get caught up in bajillion resources, because there's a lot, this is the formula that I now use. And I'm actually following this also using the new courses that I'm learning. For instance, like going back and reviewing Ajax and like whatever and stuff like that. I'm still following this path. So what you do is you pick one course and you learn. You basically find one good HTML and CSS course, and you literally just get that one resource. Like my mouse is like going that's my screen going crazy. Let me smash my screen to fix it because my cat knocked it down so it doesn't look How long did JS took you? It took me forever because I wasn't as organized as I am now. So man, like it took me forever. But what I would say, pick one course, and let me use JS as an example, right? Because like the steps repeat, but pick JavaScript course. Don't think about the time it's gonna take you, right? Because you're either gonna set up yourself for failure or a lot of frustration, or both. Just think about going through these steps. So let's say you find, just know the basics of CSS, like because it's still being used. I know a lot of people use Tailwind. We'll talk about later. Like, don't worry about it. We'll talk about the new roadmap that I'm going to talk about. But for now, learn HTML, CSS, SCSS. Or SAS, because like it's still being used and it makes certain qualities of life much easier. And I mean, people don't like style components anymore. I love style components, but you can write SAS within your style components, which is awesome. Style components is basically writing your CSS inside JavaScript. I think I had a project that I was working on. I closed it. Let me see if I could open it for a second. I'll show you what style components look like. Let me not derail the conversation. I'll come back later. But so talk about using JavaScript as an example. Like you need to learn JavaScript. So find only one resource that you're going to commit. Let me be clear here. Let me be so clear here about this. If you watched my YouTube channel before, you've heard this before. If I take 10 JavaScript courses from Udemy, some other resource, whatever, like they will all cover 80% of the majority of material. So if you buy 2-3 courses on JavaScript before finishing your first one, you will basically still be covering the same material in those courses. It's like taking math level 1 for 4 times. It's like, don't do it. Don't get the idea of needing like many resources to learn something out of your head. You don't. You need one resource, and then you have Google, you have Stack Overflow, you have documentation, and now you have ChatGPT 3 where you could ask follow-up questions. And that's what I would recommend that you do, is one learning resource, only one. And then the other learning resources you do is Google, blogs, Stack Overflow, actually ChatGPT 3, Google, Stack Overflow, documentation, and being part of the community. But so the way I would say, if you're learning and you want to, you don't have to do this way, but you want to make sure that you are on the right track. This is what I would recommend. And this is a recommendation because I can't force anybody. You find one resource, let's say it's a John Smilga JavaScript course, and you start learning your JavaScript. You get one resource and you work through it to complete it fully. So if I have a Kitty, you're on the wrong side of the stream. You're at the side where you could bite buttons. You need to relax here. This is where I'm training you to relax on the left side where you have a designated place here. So we're taking a look at this class. So he has all these lessons. What you need to do, complete it fully. Go through each lesson, all the projects that he has outlined here, right? The projects, you start building stuff, complete them following the instructor, right? Once you finish the whole course, and this course will take you like a long time. It's 46 hours of content. So it's going to take you like a couple of months to complete at least. Maybe if you, and again, depending how much time you have. After you're done with this, smack alert, right? If you don't want to get smacked, don't say anything. And I'm saying hypothetical, figurative smack, not like a physical smack, right? But here's what I would recommend. I would smack myself if I did this. Don't go get another course. Don't go and move on, because you just completed the course fully. You built all the projects. You completed the tutorial by the instructor, right? That means you followed along what the instructor did. You didn't really practice on your own how to build those things. You literally copied what the instructor prepared for you for the course. So the next thing you need to do is you need to but first commit all those projects to GitHub so you have something to show. But before moving on, what you need to do, you need to build your own version project based on what you've learned from that course. So don't move on, right? For instance, I'm taking like a course on Ajax right now. Once I finish it, I'm gonna build my own upload provider using Ajax, where I'm gonna use the old way because I wanna have a upload progress bar. I'm not sure if Fetch supports it, but I think XHR or XML, whatever that like XHR, I forgot what it's called. To be honest, I'm still learning. Nobody should use the old way, but the old way has certain things that the newer things don't have. But I want to create a file upload which shows the progress, blah, 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 blah. But I'm not going to move on to another course until I build my own variation of that project that I could share in my portfolio. So you need to build first. So the idea here is you take a course, you complete it fully, you build all the projects in the course, but then you build your own version of the thing you did. So you will have at the end like a couple of different projects. And I'll kind of show you like an example of this. For instance, what I did, don't tell me I have to use my phone. I don't have my phone on me. Just let me log in. Let me log in. Okay, thank you. So let me show some of the older projects. I don't even know like what I have here anymore. Next page. But I'll show you an example. So I did Brad Traversy course, right? And based on Brad Traversy's course, I built this website, right? And I could have stopped here. I could have put this in my resume, right? I could have done it, right? I could have been like, okay, put it in the resume, and you're done. Good, hands done. Wipe it. No, I didn't like. I may have learned something, but I did not solidify what I've learned. So what I ended up doing, instead of just being like, I completed Brad Traversy's course in HTML, CSS, and I'm done, I'm moving on to the next course. What I did is from scratch on my own, struggling, of course, using Docs, MDN as a resource, I build my own HTML and CSS website that then I could put onto my portfolio. And I'm trying to find it where it is. It should be here somewhere, unless I accidentally, oh, here it is. Like delete stuff. Is it broken? Yeah, no, it's not broken. Here it is. And so I built my own HTML, CSS with a little bit of JavaScript to handle this pop-up here. Notice how when you scroll, the top menu disappears and then it pops back in. And also some basic form validation, right? That checks like, oh no, it has to be proper phone number. I don't know what the proper phone number is, but that looks good. And then, oh no, you need to provide a proper email. Okay, right? So I did basic JavaScript form validation and stuff like that. And you could submit your form. Perfect, great, success. Your form has been submitted. No, it wasn't, because I don't want people to spam me with form submissions. But here's the point, is that you have to build, based on what you learn, your own project. And then now, not only going back to my roadmap, I have all the projects that I built following the tutorial, but I now have my own projects that I built from scratch that I could put in my portfolio. And this is what I would recommend. So let me take a look at the comments first before we get too far. So this is a great question. And so what I would say, is it necessary to know UX UI as a web developer? What's necessary is for you to be familiar how to take a mockup from a Figma file and convert it through your HTML and CSS knowledge to code, right? So UX UI, you need to be that's for web designers and web developers. You're taking a design somebody else made and you converting it to HTML and CSS. But with that being said, you don't need to take a full course on it, but be familiar with some basic UX UI principles and concepts so you could better understand when you and have a better way to communicate with your designers. So when they talk to you, you kind of speak their language a bit. And let's say here, hey Paul, any advice on how much React I should know before I start learning Next.js? Yes, and this is exactly follows what I'm doing here. And so notice how here, what I would say is you find one resource. So for you, this is the old roadmap. We will update it. But what I would say, it's like you find one resource on React. And let me go back to my share screen here. Yes, and 100%. You could use the converter to convert Figma to React, 100%. But you still should be familiar before using tools, like still know how to do this on your own. But yes, use the tools to save time, 100%. And hello, Pablo. And Bram is 100% right. It's a lot faster. And hello, Pablo. He says, hi guys, hello everyone. And Jason, to answer your question, so here's what I do. You find one resource on React. Let's say I know, and what you do is you complete one React course. You build a project that, let's say, based on the lessons, but then you build your own project. So what I would argue to answer shortly is just take one React course. Once you finish it, move on to Next.js. Take one Next.js course, move on, build your project. And again, sticking to this idea where you should have a project you build from the tutorial, and then you should have your own project that you build by yourself. And to show you that I'm not like just talking out of my butt here and telling you this is kind of something I did, like because doing a course will help you to better like learn things, but building things yourself will help you to understand things and do things on your own. So let me see. I don't know if it works anymore because I haven't looked at stuff here. So this is Get Cocktails. This is a basic React app that I built following John Smilga course to learn the basics. Let's see. Where's a good drink that I could look up? I'm not a big drinker. But you could like search drinks. Like let's say you want to find Bloody Mary. So this is connects to an API, right? And it'll find you the data. You could have single type. So what I did, like once I learned this and I'm like, oh, okay, I followed a tutorial to do this. This was not my design. This is me following a tutorial. So then what I decided is like, I need to create my own React project. And so I went ahead and created my own project. I'm trying to find like one that I could share here. And these are all my old ones, by the way. So I created this one, which is a COVID tracker. And I use a library to make the map. Don't think I designed this from scratch, but I created this like project where you could like search stuff by countries to see the cases of, and I use libraries to like make it look pretty. But I built my own React application before moving on to the next thing. You know, and it's very, very important. And yes, it's all about keep learning, and React Next this year. Fantastic. That's a really good idea. So I was showing you my old roadmap and the process of learning. So if I were to start to learn again, and we could argue the order here, like what would I do? So I would still say you need to be familiar with GitHub and basics of using GitHub, because at companies, you will be using GitHub on a team to work on projects. Next, I'm still the same. Learn HTML, CSS, and Sass. Still on the same kind of plan here. You need this. Okay, if you're still in line with learn JavaScript, 100% still learn JavaScript. I'm still here, and I already added all the new stuff. But so next thing I would learn is learn React after JavaScript. You took one course with JavaScript, learn React. Next, learn Next.js. Next.js is very popular. I personally love Remix, and I use Remix more than I use Next.js. But the only reason I use Remix is because I know Next.js. I don't care for Next.js. I like Remix. But if you want to get hired, Next.js is the framework to learn after React. And when I say GitHub, I'm not even going that deep. Like use the basic command. I thought you put continuous integration and deployment, but you put like you learned the CLI. Yeah, basic commands in CLI, like be able to work with branches, never committing into main branch until you like have a PR. Like you could do your own pull requests and review it yourself and then merge into main, but understand basic. So Express, a good question. I would say don't worry about Express, because this is a goal to get your first job. You want to get in as a front-end developer. So I don't have it here. Instead, I should talk about learning how to consume APIs, but I'll get there in just a second to answer your question. For me, if you start going the full stack route, it will take you way longer to get a job. That's just been my experience. And I'll tell you how I solved my Express question, and I'll get to that in just a moment. But let's come back here for a second. So after you learn React, you could learn Next.js, or I would say you could move to learn React and TypeScript, then Next.js. So maybe I would say this: learn JavaScript, learn React, learn TypeScript. You can't, now you have to learn TypeScript. I'm sorry, I suck at TypeScript and I don't want to learn it, but you have to learn TypeScript. There's no there's no other ways around it. So if you're starting out, learn JavaScript, learn React. Now you must and have to learn TypeScript. It's a must. You need to learn TypeScript. You need to learn TypeScript. Oh God, I hate TypeScript. I don't fucking want to use TypeScript. And I didn't want to swear either. But you need to learn TypeScript, and I'm learning TypeScript because you need it. Then learn Next.js. And Next.js, by the way, speaking of which, like the Express, like Next.js allow you to write like full stack application. I'm not saying you have to go that full route, but you will get an intro by any Next.js course because they'll show you how to build an application using Next.js. But so you'll start getting that introduction, but don't dwell too much on full stack development here. Because you could get, what you really need to know is how to consume APIs from another API. And what I do here in this case, what for all my things is I literally use strappy. So instead of working on figuring out how to make strappo, that sounds rough, strappy. Instead of kind of figuring out how to and bug down myself with how to create my own API and how to do like this, I just want to create full stack applications without like messing with it. And this also will stretch to learning introduction to databases, because with strappy in your dev you could use SQLite, in production you use Postgres, so you could start experimenting and learning about databases this way. But let me just show you what strappy.io is, by the way. Strappy.io, my cat's on my keyboard so I can't see what I'm typing. So here it is. It gives you an amazing way to create API. Well, it's a CMS that gives you this amazing admin UI for you to see all the different content types you have in your data, but it gives you this, literally you could set this up in 5 minutes and you have an API that returns amazing JSON for your data that you could consume in your project. You could either use via REST, that's what I recommend, or you could use it via GraphQL. And so this will allow you to build apps fast without bugging yourself down with, you know, having to create your own API. And so if you're looking to break into the industry and you want to do the quickest, this is what I recommend. Focus more on the front end and use a headless CMS like Strappy that will allow you to build full stack projects really quickly. And even in my case, for Remix, I'm doing Remix, it's a full stack application. I mean, framework that allows you to build full stack app. I'm still using Remix with Strappy because I don't want to be bothered like trying to build everything by myself from scratch. You also think about like the limited time that you have, right? Learning, it's like the more you need to learn, the longer it will take you. So for me, this is what I recommend. So coming back to my roadmap here, if I were to update it, these would be the updates. Still continue to learn GitHub, still learn HTML, CSS, still learn JavaScript, still learn React. Now you have to learn TypeScript. Now you should learn Next.js. You should be comfortable with full CRUD operation from the standpoint front end of how to consume APIs. You should be familiar with basics of database, Strappy. And so this is what I would say you need to do before applying at this point. And someone will argue with me, that's fine. You could argue with me. I mean, you could start applying sooner. But I'm just gonna say before applying here, but you should start applying right away. So let me do a caveat here. Before applying, right, you should know all this stuff, and this is a lot. And so when people say it takes 3 months to get a job, get the hell out of here, right? There's a lot of stuff to learn, but don't worry. There's a caveat here. So while learning this, once you get to this point, HTML, CSS, JavaScript, when you learn React and you have a couple projects. Oh my God. Kitty, you're on the wrong side. I keep telling you. This is the side you have to be on. Please lay down on your bed on the left side that I made for you. So you could start applying at this point. Like you'll have, by this point, if you follow the path that I recommend, I'm sorry, like let me move this down. You will have in your portfolio one HTML, CSS project you built from scratch yourself. You'll have one JavaScript project you built yourself, and you have your requests. And then start applying right away, but then focus on TypeScript, Next.js, consuming APIs, databases. And really, if you, and I will keep applying. This makes more sense now, right? Keep applying, right? And so this is what I would say you should do. Now, in terms of the process of learning, what you would do is you would follow what I had in the previous resource here, which is following this type of outline process for your courses or for your resources. So once you identify, and before we do that, it's like, I did not want to select those. What the hell are you doing? Make this smaller, and I'll zoom in. Oh Jesus! Oh Jesus! Oh! What am I doing? Delete. Why did it do that? Oh my God! Oh my God! I don't know how to use mirror. Mirror. Stop. This is the one I want. All right, so here's the thing that I'm saying. So once you decided the things you need to learn, before we move to this step, what you need to do is you need to find one resource where you're gonna learn those things. It could be Free Code Camp, it could be Udemy. I'll just say, using Udemy as an example, so I could go to Udemy and I could say GitHub. Like I'm just going to, just for brevity, because it makes it easier. And so you'll say the GitHub Bootcamp, perfect, I like it. Copy this link. And then you could start building your roadmap, and you could do, let's use text thing. Like, okay, we have, Jesus, I didn't want to make it this big. It just doesn't like me much. Okay, so here you have one course that you're going to take for, and maybe like completing a full GitHub course, you should at least do one HTML, CSS course, so you could actually have some projects that you could, oh Jesus. And then you'll go down the list. You go, I want to learn HTML and CSS. Okay, HTML. And again, I'm not saying use Udemy. I'm just saying, this is, oh God, I wanted the link to this course, whatever. This sounds good. And then you'll go down your list and you add all these resources that you're going to use for learning. So notice how before even jumping into learning, come up with resources. Again, I'm not going to do this on stream because I don't want to bore you all, but you will go through the list, you find resources for all the thing. Once you have your resources, right, like you will follow, I'm going to start with this one, HTML and CSS, right? You have your resource, you would, for that resource, it would be HTML and CSS, like whatever, don't worry about this. And what you would do is you would, for each one of these blocks, you would make your own lesson plan here, which will follow this thing. And this should be HTML and CSS. And you follow this process for HTML, CSS, and SAS. You would get one resource, which we did, complete it fully, build all the projects in it, push it to GitHub, then build your own personal project from scratch without using the course based on what you learned from memory. And when you get stuck, go to ChatGPT, go to Google, go to Stack Overflow, read the documentations. And after you're done, you're going to have a HTML and CSS project that you could put in your portfolio. So if you follow this logic, correct? You follow this logic here that I'm outlining here. Basically, you're going to have something you did for GitHub, HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and React. So based on that, you're going to have one HTML project that you built yourself in your portfolio. You're going to have one JavaScript project that you built yourself in your portfolio. And then you're going to have a React project. And then you could start applying. Maybe you'll get a job, maybe you won't. But then move on to learning TypeScript, Next.js, consuming APIs, and database. And this is what I would say the updated roadmap. If I were to make the changes, this is what I would do. And if you want to have access to the mirror board or clone it, let me throw it in the chat and let me know comments. Open Classrooms has good courses. Nice. There's like limitless, super amazing places. Benjamin Wolf says a developer job board app got me hired. And I'm assuming you're referring to the Node or Express application that John Smilga course had. That is awesome. Yeah, and the reason why an app like that gets you hired, and I could build that same app using Strappy as my backend, but the reason why is because it shows you understand not just how to make static sites, but you understand that there's an API somewhere that it could be something you built yourself, or it could be something that you consume, but you understand how to perform CRUD functionality, create, read, update, delete in your application, which is basically all apps. All apps are basically glorified like to-do apps or form submission apps. No matter where you go, all it is basically a way for you to submit a form to do something or delete a thing or add a thing, right? And so that's really good thing. So let me look at the chat before we talk about some closing thoughts and talk about why do I have preview mode. Oh my God, back to live mode, Jesus Christ. I don't understand. I hope I was sharing the right string. And another good one, of course, is board app, good hired. Yeah, you could, if you're referring to, yeah, exactly, Pablo. Thank you for telling people what they got to do. 19 people watching and 10 likes. What are you smoking? By the way, you don't have to like it for me. Like it for the amazing people you have in the chat. Like, I'm still like some random dude, by the way. I make zero money on YouTube, by the way. I do this literally for fun. I do have buy me coffee. Don't buy me coffee unless you have money to burn. Literally, don't buy me. Supporting me with likes and watching videos is fine too. But I make no money like on YouTube. I would love to one day make some money off YouTube, but I'm not betting on it. Like, I make my money by working my job as a developer. Well, now I'm a developer advocate, which I split my time half and half between building cool things, really focusing on plugin development right now, and talking to developers basically. But yeah, nice. 25 now. Oh my God, popular. These streams are becoming popular. I hope I'm giving giving a lot of value to you. Like, yeah, like let me know if I'm completely like talking out of my butt, like let me know. But I'm literally telling you this because I wish I knew this, because it would have saved me so much time. Yes, I hate to tell you, TypeScript is really necessary now. Oh God, it pains me to say I hate TypeScript, but I'm learning it. I'll give you an example. If you're building Next.js project, I think they're moving on in Next 13, they give you a choice, but they prefer you to build that project with TypeScript. Angular does not give you a choice. If you were building project with Angular, it would basically building it with TypeScript is the only way to do it. And I have my mixed feelings about TypeScript. I really don't care for it, but in terms of working on teams, it makes perfect sense. And you're going to be working on a company where it's going to have a TypeScript project. So being familiar, you don't have to be a master, like complete one course, done, good, and start building projects in TypeScript, and you learn through building. But you need TypeScript. You 100% TypeScript for sure. Oh, that's kind of cool. Northern Chimp says, Open Classroom is an interesting to look at also because they choose their courses according. Yeah, throw the link for open course. I would love to check it out. And by the way, here's the mirror board that I wanted to share with all y'all checking out the stream. So quickly, like review before we open it to questions here is, here's the changes that I would make to the roadmap if I were starting today. And this is basically be familiar with GitHub, be familiar with HTML, CSS, and Sass, JavaScript, React, TypeScript, Next.js. Actually, one thing that I did forget to add here, it's learn a CSS framework just for fun. And the one I used to recommend Bootstrap a lot. Bootstrap is still popular, but I'm done with Bootstrap. I'm done with Bootstrap. I was a late adapter to Tailwind, very late adapter. But I love Tailwind now. Building my project using Tailwind. So once you learn HTML, CSS, Tailwind. Learn Tailwind, and you could you don't need to take a course for it. Just start using it. You could learn from Tailwind UI, Tailwind CSS. It's amazing. This is a very fast way to write your CSS and build amazing looking websites. So yeah, learn Tailwind. You won't need to spend too much time on that. I'm just gonna put this out there. I'm just gonna put it next to here, but it's gonna break my flow of my thing. But yeah, and so learn JavaScript, React. Yes, you need to learn TypeScript. Sorry, everybody. Learn Next.js as your React framework of choice. Learn how to consume APIs and work with database. And you could all learn that by using Strappy, which is the easiest way for you to create and manage your database. So I'll show you, I have a project, what that allows you to do.
DigitalOcean. So I could log into DigitalOcean. So I don't worry about APIs. I already have a strappy like application running. So I have this application here, right? Instead of creating a backend from end, I'm just like using this one and admin. And if I could remember my password, who knows? Okay, taking votes. Would I remember my password? Oh my God, finally. So I have like my like posts here, right? And I have like all these little posts. I have a post group that I could get from any like website that I'm building. So I built this remix website called, I don't even remember what the hell I called it. Code in Public. Yeah, I built this project and boom, I have this website which basically takes my posts from my strappy API and it consumes it here. And so I'm able to render things, and I have this form, like, because I'm like, you know, you could recommend a topic here. I got to remove this because I don't want to see what type of pictures people send me. God damn it. But I wanted to figure out how to do upload. So yeah, here's the thing. So yeah, about that. And so basically that's what I recommend. And then once you find the things that you need to learn, pick only one resource. And since Nabil, sorry if I mispronounced your name, the first course that I would recommend you learn is you start with this one, JavaScript Tutorial and Project Course 2023 by John Smilga. People like, you didn't buy this course. Why are you recommending this course? It's because I have another account. I have too many accounts. So this account has like over 300 courses, but I have another account. Log out, log in. I bought so many courses that it told me I can't buy any more courses. So I had to create another account. So John Smilga courses. So this is the course I recommend, JavaScript Tutorial Project Course. And look at that. Is this a brand new course now? No way. Oh wait, it logged me back in as coding after 30 because I know I own it. Log out. Don't be playing games with me, Udemy, and making me look dumb on my own stream. Log in with different account, email, paulberslavsky@gmail, log in. Let me see here. Yes, right user. John, man, calling me a liar? Calling me a liar? Smilga. Like, don't be telling me I am a liar to my viewers. This is the course I would recommend. Boom, go to course. See, I do own it. This is my favorite first JavaScript course to recommend for people. Now, the next person I started saying for if you really wanted to, I would not really worry about this guy yet until you complete the John Smilga and you want to learn particular things. But for vanilla JavaScript, in terms of like creating dynamic websites with JavaScript part 1 and part 2, excellent courses. Working with forms, amazing course I would recommend. JavaScript Complete Grandmaster, recommend this course. Like all these courses by this dude I recommend. Just afterwards, after you start applying, if you wanted to continue learning JavaScript, I would recommend this guy. So I hope that answers your question. Yeah, problem with JS is that huge. You have to decide what you need JS and search courses about. Honestly, like the John Smilga course that I just showed is the best bet. And once you learn this, you don't have to even buy a course. Like you could fill in the rest of the knowledge by just Googling and using Chat GPT-3 and stuff and whatever. And so I'm having problems completing coding problems. Like, what do you mean? Like lead code and algorithms? Is that what you're referring to? Because I still have problems competing those things. And I'm already working as a developer. And I've been working for 3.5 years now. So here's my thing. This is my approach here. So let's chat about it, because I know I said in the stream we're going to talk about. So here's our roadmap. We know what we need to learn. We know what we need to do. You could start applying, keep applying. So here's the thing that I would like break things up here. You know, we have a thing here. Yeah, algorithms. I'll give you my opinion about this in a second. We have before applying, and if you want to focus on algorithms, right? Then that means you want to apply to Google, FANG, Facebook, what other FANG company? Like, I don't really care for FANG companies. So if you're not focusing on applying to Google, Facebook, Amazon, really don't worry about it. And I'll tell you how you should approach this. And you don't have to listen to me, but let me tell you, I got a job before being able to do algorithms at the level that people say. Yeah, exactly. I don't like coding problems, lead codes. Pablo, can you play special NodeJS you learned before moving to React? Literally, Nabil, complete one React course on Udemy, and then complete one JavaScript course on Udemy or one resource. Like I said, if you complete a JavaScript tutorial and project course 2023 by John, you'll be ready to move on to React. Don't do another course. You only need one JavaScript course before you could move to React. This is why I'm telling you this, because I didn't listen to my own advice. And what I ended up doing is spending way too much time going JavaScript and moving on. And so you just need one basic JavaScript course, understand 80% of what you did in that course, and move on to React. Don't waste time. Here's the thing. Yeah, ES6 only, then jump to and this is any good JavaScript course will cover that. So here's the thing that I want to say. The biggest time waster for me is spending learning JavaScript for too long. If you take HTML, CSS, if you take JavaScript, if you take React, you could spend your entire lifetime continue learning those things. So if your mindset is like, I'm going to learn JavaScript until I master it before moving to React, you will never master it. You will never move to React. So this is the way I do it. What you do, one course on JavaScript, move on to React. One course on React, move on to Next.js, right? Only one course, and push yourself forward, because you will always be learning JavaScript. You will always be learning HTML. You will always be coming back to things that you didn't know. It's an ongoing journey. But in terms of pushing your progress forward so you could get hired, one HTML course. This is why I gave you this roadmap. This is why I did this for y'all, right? One HTML, CSS course, one JavaScript course. Then you move to React, one React course. Then you move to TypeScript, one TypeScript course. Then you move to Next.js, one TypeScript. Like, this is already a lot of stuff. You want a job, you want to get hired. Don't waste time. Time is one thing that we don't have, right? And I'm telling you from someone who's older, I'm 42, and I got my first job at 39. I started learning to code at 36. It took me forever because I didn't follow a similar roadmap to this. And when learning, follow these steps. Get one resource, complete it fully. Once you build all the projects from the course, I finished the React course, before moving on, create your own project from scratch based on what you learn, and then repeat, rinse and repeat. That's it. I realize I'm not sharing my screen. Let me share my screen like an idiot. But this is why I created this roadmap for you, and kind of to reiterate, one resource, right? You've completed one JavaScript course, done. Move to React, right? Don't waste time. Push your progress forward. Brian, what's up? How are you doing? Been a minute since we had you or chatted with you. Hope you're doing awesome. Hope you and your family had an amazing year and holidays. How's everything going? How's the job going? Pretty amazing. Yeah. Exactly. Push your progress forward. What I would say, push your progress forward. And if you reach something you don't know, go to documentation or go to the web and learn it organically. But don't try to learn everything. Otherwise, you'll waste so much time. And this is kind of like the point I was making. Push your progress forward, because if you could look at this already, what I outlined here, this is already that's a lot to learn to be relevant and in the field and to be able to get your first job. It's a lot to learn, right? And so don't waste time. Don't get in tutorial hell. If you literally 1, 2, 3, 4, you don't even count Tailwind. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. like this is something you're going to learn by building your own projects, but let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to 7 courses maximum. That's what you need. And then you complete those 7 courses. That's like a college a year, right? Because each semester you have 3 to 4 courses. So that's about like 1 year of college semesters basically, right? Or half a semester, whatever. But part of that, it's a year, because you got to build those projects from scratch to solidify your knowledge. So you're looking like at least, you know, I hate to say 6 months. Is it possible? Maybe. But a year to 2 years, this is like a more realistic approach to breaking the field. Maybe you'll be able to do it sooner. And if you can't, that'll be awesome. So that's what it is. Let's open it to Q&A. Let's chat. Let's do it. My kitty loves to be on the wrong side of like the things. This is your new spot on the left side. You need to chill on the left side. Yes, and use the beta React docs. Like what he's referring to, React beta docs. This is what I would say you use. And I'll throw the link here. When you're learning React, he's referring to this new documentation, which is amazing, way better than before. Control copy. Let me share this in the link for anybody. Yes, let's open it to Q&A. And I like the question here from Dev Zilla. Love that name. He says, any strategy of finding jobs? Yes. So number one, you need to have 2 to 3 projects like available, like in your portfolio. And when I say portfolio, and I've removed my projects from this portfolio site because I want to show you, don't wait, just get started. So here's the things that you need to do before applying, and I'll talk about strategies. And I always talk about strategies. Let me close so we probably won't be able to get to everything, but I'll give you a basic outline. So number one, I bought a template from Bootstrap Made right here. Here's the template that I bought right there. Look, you don't even have to buy it. I bought it because I didn't want this watermark, but you could literally get it for free. And I put my data in here. But to find jobs, there's certain things you need to have. Number one, you need to have a portfolio site where you, even if you still didn't learn this, by the way, you could add the things that you're learning here. This is all, I didn't update this, but you could put the things that you're learning here and you could use this as a roadmap. If you don't have a resume, once you build your portfolio projects for yourself from scratch, you could write a resume based on the projects you built. And I had a live stream that I've done around that. You could go to YouTube, your channel live stream, and you could search through here. It was like an older stream. Hold on, can I search my channel resume? Oh no, that's not channel search. Is there channel search? No, there's resume. So I have some older content, like interviewed a recruiter. This is what she said. I have no experience. Now what? Then I have, I know I have some streams. What if no one hired? I have like a lot of previous streams. I gotta find it. Let me go to live. But I did, I'm sorry, again, not sharing my thing here. So you could go to the channel here. You could search like resume, and I'll have some like stuff that comes up. Like I have interview recruiters, like I have no experience, like how to build experience. And then somewhere I have a live stream. Let me find it. That's actually good. How to write a resume with no experience. What? No one hires you. Blah, blah, blah. That's like a really good one, by the way. How to write a resume before. It's somewhere in here. I'm sorry. Like I'm not like it's somewhere in here. I don't want to like spend too much time, but here's the basic things you need. You need to have a portfolio site that you didn't build yourself, because you'll not build it as good. You just need something that's like your business card that you could show to people. And then here you could have your resume, which will reference your projects you built because you're currently not employed. And then you could also put your portfolios. I don't have my portfolios here because I'm redoing it. The next thing you need to have, obviously you need to have a GitHub where you're committing code. Commit everything, just so people, like before you get hired, commit everything, just so people will go. They're not going to check every green thing, but what they want to see is that you're actually involved in coding. And one way to show your history is by GitHub. So you need to have a GitHub. Next thing you need to, these are musts, by the way. You need to have a LinkedIn, and your LinkedIn should be, you know, structured. It should have your resume. It should be structured in a way that's appealing to recruiters. And at the beginning, it's going to be hard. And let me go back to my, what the hell's my LinkedIn? LinkedIn, because when I first started out, I didn't have this experience, right? Look, I worked like a lot, but when I was starting out, literally all my experience had was co-founder of Gracie Jiu-Jitsu and martial arts school that I did and taught Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and MMA, and I worked as a sales associate at the Hartford. And then this took time to build over time. So it takes a while, but you need to start somewhere, right? Also nice to have on your LinkedIn, just to kind of FYI, is to have some people say nice things about you, right? Like it, because it's always like I could say nice things about myself, but it's better if somebody else says nice thing about me. And so Katya said, like yeah, whatever, I don't have to read here, whatever, it doesn't matter. So a must, you need to have a portfolio page, you need to have a LinkedIn, and you need to have a GitHub. For your portfolio, you should have 2 to 3 projects, basically HTML, CSS, JavaScript project, React project. You could start applying. And every time you have a better project, you could replace it or add it to your portfolio. And in terms of strategies, you definitely need to write your resume in a way that it makes sense. And I'll show you like my old resume. If your resume looks like this, it's not gonna work. You're gonna get 0 jobs with a resume like this. That's exactly what happened to me. The only time I was able to get a job is when I rewrote my resume, and you like to look in a more appealing way. And this is like the structure your resume have to take. And I use the template. You could do your research, or you could literally just screen capture this right now and then copy the format. So you need to have LinkedIn, GitHub, resume, your portfolio with 3 projects, and then you start applying. The way you apply, you hit up friends that work in the industry, you hit recruiters, and you try to get people to recommend you and you refer you to a company. You know, that getting a job through a referral is the best and the quickest way to do so. So find friends. If you don't have friends, start going to meetups. I don't have friends either. So I started going to coding meetups locally in my area, and I started making friends who are developers. At meetups, a lot of times they will be like, hey, we're hiring. If you have a resume or a portfolio, share it with us. So meetups and building that connection of friends is the fastest way to get hired. It's not by blindly sending your resume. Once you build a circle of friends, you could be like, hey, I was looking for a job. Is your company hiring? Can you pass along my resume? And that will get you a job faster. So I applied to IBM, got rejected. And my friend who works there, he said, Paul, that was like the dumbest thing you did. You know me, I work at IBM. If you gave me your resume, you would have at least got an interview, right? I got auto-rejected from IBM. And so that has been my approach. I've never blindly sent out my resumes. So yes, you need to network. All the jobs I had, I'm not gonna lie to you and tell you that I blindly sent the resume and got hired, because that's a really hard way to get a job. It's through connections. So if I go back to my LinkedIn, and I will tell you exactly how I got every job here. Internship as a WordPress PHP developer. When I used to teach martial arts, the owner of this company, she used to take jiu-jitsu, and she owns the company called Point Marketing in Greenwich, Connecticut. And I told her, hey, I've been building WordPress themes. I'm pretty familiar with it. Do you have any internships? She said, yeah, right. Someone I knew. Junior JavaScript developer, Fluid Logic. This is actually, I didn't even, this is a friend of mine. He had Fluid Logic design company. We didn't get that, like we had like literally not that many clients, but we still worked on trying to build React templates with JavaScript. So I put on my resume here, front-end web developer, point marketing. It came from my internship that I got from knowing the lady that worked there. Software developer, engineer, and I'm not sharing my screen again. This is terrible. So let's go back here. I'm going to repeat again. So how did I get hired? I didn't blindly send resumes because even though it's possible, the best way is to either work with a recruiter or someone you know. So I knew the lady who owned this company because she was a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu student at the company that I worked. And I asked her, hey, I've been doing some PHP basic WordPress theme development. Are you hiring? And she's like, no, but we have an internship position. So I got an internship position. Then through that internship, I got hired by her, worked out 8 months. This software developer engineer at VersaSuite, I got there because I knew a girl that worked there, and she presented my resume and made a case for me why that company should hire me. How did I get hired at Jonah? I recommended a front-end developer to that company named Jeff. He worked there for 3 years. And then after, like, he reached out to me. He's like, hey, Paul, we are looking for junior level React developers because you recommended me to this company because I was familiar with the person who worked there. He referred me to the company and I got hired. How did I get hired as a developer advocate at Strappy? Did I blindly send my resume to them? No, I didn't. I did a stream with John Smilga where he invited the developer advocate. At the time, he still works there, Daniel, who was my manager eventually. And I talked to Daniel, said to Daniel, hey, listen, I love Strappy. Can I apply? And Daniel said, yeah, apply, send us your resume and make sure that you tell them that I referred you. And that's what happened. So I know I'm babbling on here about, and we'll take a look at the questions. But the idea here, all the jobs I had were through building relationships and having someone recommend me to the companies rather than me blindly sending resumes. I'm not saying blindly saying resumes is not, you will have to do that, but work with recruiters, work with hiring agencies, work with friends that you meet on meetups to build your reputation and network, and do that way. And then also send resumes. But I knew people that send out resumes blindly, and these are the statistics that I got from 4 people. So take it as you will. This girl that I know, she sent out 300 resumes to 300 companies. She only got, out of those 300, 5 interviews. And out of those 5 interviews, she got 2 offers, and she got a job making $95,000 a year. But that's fantastic. So let me take a look here. So we super sticker from Benjamin Wolf. Peer character bowing down saying thank you. Oh, that must have been an emoji there, or I don't, bro. Thank you so much, and I appreciate all of you here on stream. Obviously, like, if you want to support the channel monetarily, you can, but you don't have to. But the point that I'm saying is that I am here out of my passion to be like, dude, it took me way longer to get hired than it should have. Let me try to create the type of content that will help others. There's also selfish motivation. By the way, by doing this live coding, by talking about coding, I've gotten better about talking about coding. And I actually had people discover me on YouTube, and I actually was able to get job opportunities through YouTube, Strappy being one of them. I also had a job interview. I met this guy on YouTube. He has an amazing YouTube channel. I'll share it. Blah, blah, blah. Let me, if my brain's freezing, is because like I'm trying to like type or do something or search something. But Web Dev Junkie, he has a channel. Go subscribe. I don't have a Discord. I have a community that you could all join. If you want to join the community, send me an email at codingafter30@gmail.com. I don't like Discord, but I have Circle. circle community that you could be part of. Tammy is a super champ. She has been carrying the community at the moment. I'm working on engaging more. If you're new to the stream, you might not be aware I had a really rough last year. 2 really huge life-changing things happened with me. But we have this community. If you want to join, send me email to codingafter30@gmail.com. And I will add you to it. You need to have a GitHub link that you have to send to me. I have to see that you at least have a GitHub. Very important to me that you're actually serious about learning to code. But Web Dev Junkie, he discovered me through the YouTube community, and I actually had an interview because he referred me to his company for Angular development. I ended up not going with the job because I didn't want to do Angular, but that's one example of using the power of YouTube and building relations to get opportunities. But man, thank you everyone here, and I appreciate Benjamin. Thank you so much for that share. And then let's see what Benjamin says here. Very important. Coding meetups got me first contract work, and 3 weeks later I was offered a job. That's compared to a friend who's, yeah, my God, brilliant. Brilliant. And this is why I tell you this stuff, because I'm telling you things that work. And this is exactly the thing that Benjamin did. And I'm glad that you have that story to share, because it just reinforces the thing that like I'm talking about, because it's like I took me forever to get hired. I got started learning coding. Like if you could go to my YouTube channel, and there's a video that I have, which is my channel video. If you're not subscribed, like if you go into incognito, you see it. It's my journey of getting hired. It like took forever. It's because I didn't do the proper things I needed to do, and I learned them through trial and error, through literally failure. And so, like Benjamin said, there are faster ways of getting hired, and that's through building network and connections that for people that could basically help you get hired by recommending you to their companies. George says, Paul, I must thank you and John for those power hours. It really helped me every night listening those podcasts, and I found a job. Man, congratulations. Yes, George. Awesome. If you're not sure what George means, John Smilga is amazing. I'm actually just honored to be on his podcast. But you could search Web Dev Power Hour on Spotify, or you could find him on his YouTube channel. Web Dev Hour. Yeah, so I honestly prefer them on Spotify, and man, congratulations on getting hired. But what George was talking about, the Power Hour, if you're not familiar, and I prefer them actually to listen. You could find it on Spotify. It's by John Smilga. He does the podcast. The co-host. We took a little break because of the schedule change. You should be back next week, I'm hoping. But you could also find it on his YouTube channel. It's called Coding Addict, and he has a playlist, and you should be able to see all the previous Power Hours streams that we did in the past. Amazing stuff, great stuff. Go check it out. I'm glad that the content is helpful. And if you want to join my community, because I don't have Discord, I despise Discord. I do it for work, but for me, like Discord's not a thing. You could join by sending me an email. And let's come back here. Let me find my screen back here. The comments. Yes. It's really, Jisega says, it's really cool you share the advice, by the way. Thank you. I'm currently unemployed, taking care of 5 kids at the moment, wife working as a nurse, and I'm trying to learn enough to get into web dev. Good Lord. First of all, I just want to say, this is a lot of things. A lot of people don't talk about this, and this is like a really important point. A lot of people that are looking to break into the industry, they're at a different point in their life. And so someone who might be either like really young, single, no kids, no responsibilities, you could work like 48 hours like a day, like you could like not sleep or 24 hours, whatever it is. And you could really push it. Maybe you'll get hired 3 months, but it's such an unrealistic expectation because in reality, people have jobs, people have responsibilities, people have families. It's a whole strain of like that it adds to learning journey because you're taking care of your kids, you know, all this crazy stuff that is happening. So it might take you 2 years, 3 years to break into it, but it's still worth it. And so keep going. But it is 100% important to bring that up is that, my gosh, like the struggle is real and you will have to either wake up early, go to bed later. You know what I mean? And that's probably what you're doing in order to continue to study daily, even if it's half an hour a day. And consistency is better than, like, not saying if you have extra time, put on the weekend, but consistency daily will help you stay in the routine 100%. And Boogie says, got Christopher CFV to be submit an article about adding custom providers to users and permissions, and the same person who asked us a question about it yesterday. Oh, nice. Awesome. So this is referring to, by the way, like Strappy has a Write for the Community program where you could write posts and share them, which is really cool if you're building a reputation, if you learn something cool. And I'm not saying you have to use Strappy, but a lot of, like, you could do it on dev.io, TO, and you could publish articles. But Boogie is referring, just letting me know that he had somebody who's going to write an article about something cool that I was looking for. Custom providers to user permission. Nice. That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, Web Dev Junkie Discord is cool. And so I don't have a Discord. You can join my community that I shared by sending me an email at codingafter30@gmail.com with your GitHub, LinkedIn, and I will add you. But if I were to have, obviously join Web Dev Junkie's Discord server to be on. If you're using Strappy Discord is an amazing place as well. And Benjamin says, it's good to hear a YouTube host being realistic about the time needed to work ready. Most people I know took 2 days. Yeah, 100%. And this is why I love Web Dev Junkie. This is what I love. And I wouldn't even say YouTube host. What I would say is Web Dev Junkie is a developer who happens to have a YouTube channel. I am a developer/developer advocate who happens to have a YouTube channel. Our main jobs are our developer jobs. And those are the people you should follow because those are the people that not making money from YouTube. So they're not making content that's good for YouTube, but maybe bad for actual tips. And so I love Dorian. Dorian develops. He has an amazing YouTube channel. But all of his content, and I love him, and he has over 100,000 subscribers now. He makes money from YouTube, right? But let's take a look here. And I love him, by the way. I'm not calling him out, right? YouTube. Dorian develops, right? He has amazing content. And now he kind of pivoted a little bit, but you don't need a degree to get an engineer. How should I learn to code if I could start all over? That's not him. Let me go to Dorian's channel. He has a lot of great videos, right? They took our jobs, right? It's talking about chat, probably GPT-3, like learning code won't change your life before and after. Like he talks about clever programmers getting sued. He talks about topics that are trendy on YouTube and they're entertaining to watch. They're great, right? And let me show my screen here. He's talking about topics that are trending, you know, clever programmers getting sued, the one skill you need to be succeed as a programmer, don't learn code, ChatGPT will take everyone's job, right? Everything is trending because he gets paid by YouTube. That's how he makes his money. So he's going to make content that's obviously helpful, of course, right? But he's also making content that is, you know, trending for YouTube specific, right? And so the stuff that you watch is very entertaining, but is it going to help you get hired? I don't know. I really don't know. Like, I don't think so, right? Because it's just entertaining content for you to consume on YouTube because he gets paid by YouTube. And I love Dorian. I've been a guest on his channel when he only had 12,000 subscribers. He's blowing up, and you know what? He needs to continue to make this type of content because his revenue and his income now comes from YouTube, right? And so is he the best person to follow. I would say, you know, your better approach should be like following developers, and they're focused more on like development stuff, watching live stream, watching code, spending as much time on code as possible. And so that's like one caveat I would say, is that there's a lot of YouTubers that make videos for YouTube. I'm a developer who is on YouTube, who's making videos not for YouTube, but for people that are looking to switch careers. That's my market, and that's what I'm doing. Yeah. So thank you for that. No, not build. Good Lord. Should I build a project? Once you complete a JS course, build a JS course, not JS course, build a project in JavaScript. Until you finish that JavaScript project you build from scratch, don't move to React. Have I taught you nothing? We'll look at our old roadmap. Look, you finished a JavaScript course. There's no go directly to the next React course. There's no direct path. No, the path is build a project, then go to React. Good Lord, I'm just teasing you, of course. But let me share my screen. Yeah, look, there's no direct, like you've completed your JavaScript course, no direct way to go to React. The next direct path is to build your project based on the JavaScript you learn. Only then you move to React. Now, of course, I'm not picking you. I'm just kidding. But that is the path. Learn, build, move to next course. Learn, build your own project, move to the next course. That's the thing here. And so, yeah, and let me know if you have any other questions. We're hitting an hour and a half, the tail end of our stream. If you have any other questions, let me know. I'll answer them quickly. Else, we could call it a day. And if you do want to join the Circle community, go ahead, email me at paulbertslavsky@gmail.com, because I use the invite through the email. If for weird reason, if you're not subscribed to the channel, subscribe if you want. You don't have to. If you haven't liked the stream, you can like it. And this is a Saturday coffee code and chat. I also stream on Fridays, and I will start releasing a separate weekly video as well. And can you share the sheets? What are you referencing to? Are you referencing to this link here to what I have here? Here, I'll throw it in the chat again. Yep. Perfect. And if you don't have any questions, I guess we could call it a day. It was a great stream. I love all of you. Without you, by the way, this is not my channel. This is your channel. I'm just the host. Without you as the community, without you, the subscribers, without you people tuning in on Saturdays, I would not be here. I am part of your community. You're the bricks that this channel is built. And if these bricks, you, did not exist, I would be not here. Like, I would be nobody, right? And so thank you. I really appreciate your support, your love, and thank you so much. And with that being said, everybody have a great rest of the weekend. And if you're in the US, you have Monday off, which is awesome. So thank you so much. Have a great rest of the weekend. And I hope I will see you on the next stream and the next call. Thank you so much. And ChatGPT, by the way, I made an amazing live stream. Before I go, let me share that. If you missed it, no, ChatGPT is not going to take your jobs. But, and as you will see later in that stream that I did yesterday, is if you don't know how to code, it's completely useless. Like ChatGPT, and I got stuck. GPT-3 wasn't able to help me. So no, it's not going to take your jobs. But let me share that live stream here, because it was the one that I did yesterday called Date Night with ChatGPT-3, because I share how I use it for a standpoint of learning. So ChatGPT-3 is not going to be taking your job, and Nabil is following from Sweden. Man, that's one country I do want to visit one day. That would be amazing. Just in general, like, I need to travel more in Europe. I'm planning at some point to, in 2023, spend some time in Paris, and maybe I could plan some trips from Paris to visit some local European countries as well. It will be amazing. But thank you all so much. Have a great one. Can't thank you enough. Love you all. Take care. Have a great rest of the weekend, and bye-bye.